Hello everyone! Today I am sharing with you all of the books that I read in October. I read 9 books in October, which is really good. I liked overall all the books that I read in October. As always, I feel like with October, I really read all the spooky books and I'm excited to read them. And then halfway through the month, I'm kind of like over it. I don't know why. But either way, all the books I'm sharing with you today are all kind of spooky related that are perfect to read for the Halloween month. Also, this will be the last time you see my Halloween background this year, so say goodbye to it, and my fall background will be up for another month, and then the Christmas background will be up. I know, I'm like, I love decorating my shelves seasonally. I really, really do. So yeah, let's get into it. So I'm pretty sure I have reviewed all of these books pretty much in Mashup reviews, which I will link down below if you want to check them out. So I'm not going to go into much detail about them because like I've already talked about the reviews. I'm going to talk about them here. I'm just going to give you my brief thoughts about it. But if you want to hear more about any of them, check out the Mashup reviews where I talked about them. So as always with these, I'm going to start with my least favorite book, working up to my favorite read of the month. So the first book I want to talk about is The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein by Kiersten White. I gave this book a 3 out of 5. Overall, it was an enjoyable read. I think it's a great book to read for Halloween because it's a Frankenstein retelling, but it didn't really stick with me. In this book, we have Elizabeth who kind of gets adopted into the Frankenstein family to become a friend for Victor, just to kind of help him, to be there for him, and she really molds herself into Victor's eyes. So whatever he wants, she does. She's there for him always, and then obviously as time goes on, she learns that Victor may not be the best person because he's got a lot of like flaws and monstrous things about him, and you can guess what happens from there. Like I said, it's a good monster tale, but it wasn't anything like epic or daring. It was just kind of okay. I hate to say that, but I was really excited for this book, and I don't want to say it was a letdown, but it wasn't just what I wanted, I guess. So yeah, sadly, only 3 out of 5. Next book is The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. This is a graphic novel. I read this because obviously the Netflix show is coming out very, very soon. I think it's already out now. I should have already binged it, hopefully. I think I'm gonna like the show a lot better than the book. I feel like the show is gonna be very different from the book. The book had a strong plot, but I didn't really love it. Like, I didn't connect with Sabrina. I like the ending overall, but I think the main love about this book is the drawings. The drawings are beautiful. Got a red tinge to them throughout the whole entirety of it because it's creepy. So I love the drawings of them. Overall, do I think it's necessary for you to read the book before watching the show? I don't think so, because I think the show is gonna be very different from the book. So I give this one a 3.5 out of 5. Next up is probably my most disappointing read of the month, and I think I just hyped myself up too much for this book, and that is The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Torton. This is Clue and Groundhog Day all together. It's about a guy named Aiden who wakes up in a body that is not his own in this manor, and he has like 7 days to figure out who killed Evelyn Hardcastle. And each day he wakes up in a different body of the person that's in the manor. So it all sounds very intriguing, but what I didn't love about this book is that it was confusing. It was just straight up 500 pages of confusion, and I thought it was way too long. And I'd say if you're a big fan of writing notes down while reading books, this would be a great book for you, because you really have to be diligent about who's who, about where they were, about what time it was, about what the crap's going on. I did not do that because I'm not that type of a reader, but if you are, I think this book would be great for you. Sadly, I did not love it. Like, everybody on Goodreads rates this 5 out of 5, so I feel like the definitely unpopular opinion here for sure, because I only gave it like a 3.5 out of 5. So yeah, people might hate me for this, but I just didn't love it, sadly. Next up is Watching You by Lisa Jewell. This book sadly does not come out to December, so I feel bad even talking about it, but I was just really drawn by it. It was a spookathon, I wanted to read it, and I really enjoyed it actually, and I want to read more of her books. If you know of any ones that you think I would like, I would love to hear your thoughts about them. But this is basically about this neighborhood, and a murder's happened at the beginning, and you're trying to figure out who died and who did it. It's kind of like Big Little Lies, but the mystery of you don't even know who died, you don't know who did it. So I'd say if you're a big fan of Big Little Lies, you would like this book, because it's more about the exploration of these characters more so than the murder. So I really enjoyed it. I'd say it's like a woman's fiction with a dash of mystery, which I like as well. So I gave it a 3.75. So I definitely be on the lookout for this one in December, because I think it's a great mystery thriller, but like not too heavy on the mystery thriller, if that makes any sense. I have a YA mystery thriller that I actually really enjoyed, and all of these ones I'm going to talk about are on the 4 stars. I have no 5 stars this month, sadly. And the first one is Neverworld Wake by Marisha Pessl. This is her YA book. So she's also known for Night Film, her adult book, which I still haven't read. I know, I'm bad. But this one I really enjoyed. This one we follow a main character named Beatrice, and Beatrice's boyfriend had died a year ago, and she's obviously still distraught over it. It was ruled as suicide, but she knows that that is not what happened at all. So on the year of the anniversary of his death, she kind of goes to her friends, and they all went to this boarding school together, and they decide to maybe to figure out more about his death. And then something really scary happens to them, and they kind of end up in a purgatory almost. It's a very interesting book. You go into it thinking it's one thing, and then it's not. It's something way different, and I really enjoyed that because it was different from all of the YA mystery thrillers that I have read, because usually I'm not a fan of them. But this one I did enjoy because it was just so out there. The ending was really good, but still I think needed a little bit more of a punch. But overall, I enjoyed it. This is a polarizing book. Either you're really gonna enjoy this book or you're not gonna like it at all. I really liked it. I gave it a 4 out of 5. Would recommend it. Definitely want to read Night Film by her, like, immediately. Next up, we have Pieces of Her by Karen Slaughter. This is my first Karen Slaughter book, and I really enjoyed it. I've heard this is her most tame, and that's probably why I liked it a lot, because her books are mostly gory and really scary, and I'm not into either of those things, so I guess that's why I love this one. I gave this one a 4 out of 5. This is basically about a girl named Andrea, and her and her mom are at a diner one day, and something happens, and she sees her mother in a whole new light, and she has to run for her life. And in the event of doing that, she has to uncover her mother's past, and she really learns who her mother is. It's somebody that she never even knew, really. Like, she doesn't understand, like, her mother at all, like, what was hidden beneath the surface of her mother. Like it says, mother, hero, liar, killer. How can you tell when all you have is pieces of her? I really enjoyed this book. I liked the twists and turns it had. It was definitely more of a mystery than a thriller, I would say, which I enjoyed. So if you've read any of other Karen Slaughter's books and you think I can handle it, let me know which ones. I've heard good things about the Pretty Girls, I think, and The Good Daughter. Let me know, because I want to read more of her books, but I don't want to be too scared. Sorry if I'm going through these too fast. Like, I feel like I've talked about all of these books a lot recently in a lot of videos, so I just don't want to keep repeating myself constantly. And then I have another YA mystery thriller that I really enjoyed, and that is Sadie by Courtney Summers. I listened to this one on audiobook, and I highly recommend, if you want to read this book, to listen to it, because it was phenomenal. This one is told like half in podcast format and half through Sadie's point of view. So basically in this book we follow Sadie, and Sadie's sister was brutally murdered a year ago, and Sadie knows who has killed her sister. So she runs away because she's going to exact revenge on the person who has killed her. Meanwhile, people reach out to Wes McCrae, a podcast producer, and they're like, can you help us try to find Sadie? And so he decides to start a podcast called The Girls, which is all about Sadie and trying to find her, and also trying to figure out her sister's death. So basically you have two stories kind of running simultaneously together. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was phenomenal. I say listen on audio because they really do a full production of the podcast. Like, they have the music, and they say this podcast was presented to you by Macmillan Publishers, and they have a full cast of different interviews and things like that. And I also love Sadie because she has a stutter, which I don't think we ever get in any books. So overall, I really enjoyed this book. I wanted to give it a 5 out of 5, I'm honest with you, but the ending I did not enjoy. I thought the ending was too open-ended. I wanted a more definitive closing, so I was kind of frustrated with it in that regard. But other than that, definitely one of the best YA mystery thrillers that I've read, and I don't read a ton that I really adore. This one I enjoyed a lot. This book I also listened to on audiobook, and that is You by Caroline Kepnes. I finally listened to this, and I would highly recommend, if you're reading this one, to listen to it as well. The audiobook just adds even a more creep factor than the book is altogether. This book follows a stalker's point of view. So we follow Joe, and Joe works at a bookstore, and he meets Beck, and he becomes obsessed with Beck. He learns where she lives, where she works, where she goes to school, who her friends are. He follows her around. He becomes enamored with her life, and he wedges himself into her life. And we follow Joe as he's doing all of these things. And this book is full of unlikable characters. Every single character in this book you are gonna hate, including the person who's like the victim, Beck. You're gonna like probably Joe more than you like Beck, which is insanity because Joe's the like villain here. But then you read more about Beck and you're just like, I hate her, then you hate her friends, and you just hate Joe, and it's just, this book just amazed me by how much I hated all of the characters, but I really loved the book. It was just overall very interesting. I know there's a sequel. I'm grappling about reading it or not. I would love to hear your thoughts if I should read it, because I've heard good things about it, but I've also heard bad things about it, so I don't know what to do about it. So yeah, I love this book. 4 out of 5. Definitely one of my favorite mystery thrillers that I've read. And I really want to watch the Lifetime show. Haven't done it yet, need to. Favorite book of the month, I actually like finished literally at the beginning of the month, and that is Vengeful by V.E. Schwab. Oh look, we match black and red. I didn't plan this. This is the second book in the Villain series. I have a full video review alone on this book, so if you want to check that out, I'll link it right here. Overall, I didn't love this one more than Vicious, sadly. I liked Vicious a whole lot more, but I think it's a good like second book. I think for sure there has to be a third book in this series because there's no way she could have ended it like she did in this series. But overall, I liked the new characters we have, but I wanted more of the old ones. I just kind of wanted more from it. The ending was also very confusing, which I didn't love, but overall, if you want to hear more of my thoughts, check out my video review on it because it's been like a month since I've read this, so I'm kind of like, what happened? I forgot kind of, but I know I liked Vicious more, but either way, I love V.E. Schwab's writing. Like, I can just read her books all day, every day because her writing is just phenomenal. So I give this one a like 4.25 out of 5. So there you have it. Those are all the books that I read this month. 9 books. Yeah, I'm about to hit my 100 goal. I'm about to hit my 100 books read goal like next month, which is insanity. I think hopefully I'll end the year by reading 115. What is life? I don't know how I'm doing this, but either way, I'm excited for November books because I'm reading a lot of really big books in November and I'm excited for all of them. So I can't wait to read those. And yeah, if you have read any of these books, please let me know your thoughts and opinions and if we rated them the same or not. And if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Hit subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.